It's Tuesday, March the 12th, 2024. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne. And today, 8 stories that you vetted as conversational, 8 stories for you come from the past day that we'll get into, covering current events, politics, pop culture, and information news. And let me tell you, I'm promising Cape Middleton, I will not deliver. There's your warning. There's your teaser for that one, if you will. But we'll explain the whole vetting process, how we got the stories and headlines to you in just a bit, plus give you some fun stuff for today to very enjoy. And it's $2 Hollow Tuesday. We'll tell you what that is a little bit forward going here. So you want to see more about what we do and how we do it, go to the Conversation Project website. This is theconversationproject.com and find out what we do all day, every day, the full offerings as we say it. And email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. 10 or 8 stories for the day, and we'll explain how the vetting process works. No particular order as they've been presented, but we'll give you some context as we give you stories coming down the line. Let's get into the headlines for Tuesday, March the 12th, 2022. Starting off with this one, which is a sad one. So today we're getting these sad ones out of the way, kind of heavy ones first, and then going into the actual lighter ones towards the end, because we're getting really, really petty with Kate Middleton. There's your teaser on that one. Headline number 1. 2 arrested after 8 Northeast high school students were shot in Philadelphia bus stop. 2 18-year-olds have been arrested in the connection to the shooting incident that occurred in a Philadelphia bus stop. The attack targeted high school students waiting for a bus on Wednesday, resulting in a dangerous situation for all there. This is still a bit ongoing. This just the arrest, and so we'll have more about that. We have a picture of this that we got from the news in Philadelphia, where it's essentially the crime scene afterwards, where the bullets are, and they're taking a look at things. This is a situation. These are stories. These are things that unfortunately are not going away, are not ending anytime soon. So if you have children, please hug them tightly and then make sure they know they're safe, and make sure they know safety messages for this one, and know what your children are up to as best as possible, who they're hanging out with, and who may be beefing with them, because things like this is becoming a too big of occurrence in this day and age. Our second headline for this morning, it reads, Madonna accidentally calls out fan in wheelchair for sitting down. Mads is on the world tour set after delaying it and doing things and having all sort of issues, but now she is out there doing the Madonna thing. She's also calling people out and not really paying attention to what's happening. What happened at a concert, she yelled at a fan for sitting down during her concert, not getting up, not getting down with the boogie, not having voguing and stuff. The problem was the individual was sitting down because he has no choice. He is in a wheelchair. The incident occurred last week during her Celebration Tour concert. Becoming aware of the situation, Madonna acknowledged that her comment was politically incorrect and apologized to the fan. The moment, which is captured on video and social media, so go look for it. It's out there. Led to discussions about public awareness and sensibility at public events, and accessibility, if you will. So why can't a person in a wheelchair love some Madonna and be out there on the floor? They can. It's obvious they can. Why should Madonna not pay attention, see that this guy's obviously sitting in a big old metal chair? Well, she's a bit older. Maybe her eyesight needs to be touched up a bit. Maybe. Let's go to our next story this morning. This is another sad one. Sperm whale beach on sandbar off coast of Venice, Florida has died. This is an update from what we posted yesterday, where the whale had been beached for about 2 days, and all the rescuers doing what they can to save the whale. That efforts have been in vain at this point. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, along with other wildlife experts, were involved in the rescue operation, which unfortunately did not survive. We are saddened for the loss. It's a kind of graphic, kind of sad picture there if you're seeing it, so apologies for that. But we're saddened for what happened, and hopefully we can do more to fix this. No one has a real kind of idea what happened. Sometimes large animals and some sea animals just sort of get themselves out of sorts, swimming in low tide or high tide, and then when low tide comes in, they're stuck on a beach like this. The story we have, that's number 4 this morning. Reddit looking to raise almost $750 million. Got the 5 and 7 backwards in initial public offering. I cannot operate Reddit. It just does not work for me. So I'm not a guy that can get into it. However, because I use a Robinhood app, which I probably should be actually promoting today, I'm able to get on this IPO. Maybe. The IPO is going to make some big money for Reddit. They believe they're looking to raise a bunch of money. The valuation for the company is at $6.4 billion. Shares in IPO are about $31 to $34 each. We'll find out once they actually place the prices for the shares and see what's in there. If you have some sort of online app for buying stocks, you can probably get a chance to get into IPOs. That's the biggest deal. One of the big selling points of Robinhood right now is IPOs. And this is actually a big one. They have some kind of, new ones for a while. This is a big one you might want to get into because I think this one will actually run the distance, if you will. No endorsement of that. I'm just full disclosure. I'm trying to buy some stock here, and you may want to try to get some as well for Reddit, a site. Like I said, I literally cannot operate, but it's big money and people use it and people always refer to it. So apparently somebody's getting something out of it. This is our fifth story for this morning. 5 people found dead at Honolulu home in apparent murder-suicide. So an incident happening in Manoa, Hawaii, where a man suspected of killing his wife and 3 children in a murder-suicide. Witnesses reported hearing an argument at the home early Sunday morning. The event went down sometime that day. It's the worst mass killing in Hawaii in more than 2 decades, drawing parallels to the Xerox murders in November 2nd of 1999. In that case, Brian Kioa Ugiga fatally shot 7 co-workers. It's a tragic event. It's a lot going on right now in Hawaii, a lot going on with people still rebuilding from the fire. And this isn't even a issue of that here. So a lot of stress, a lot of things going on today. We'll kind of bring something up for that a bit later. But like I said, we're trying to get out all of this sadder things first because we're going to get, as I said, really petty towards the end. So it really doesn't work out well in a standpoint there. But, when you get petty, you get petty. So we are sending lots of prayers, lots of well wishes to the families involved here and the people in the neighborhood who have to kind of live through this incident. Let's start to get petty right now. Russell Wilson has agreed to sign a 1-year deal with the Steelers, AP source says, and this is basically all done. This is all signed up. When we put this down there, it wasn't finalized, wasn't official, but essentially it is it. So Russell Wilson gets a 1-year deal with the Steelers. So he is now have to compete with Kenny Pickett, the quarterback from last year's season, who got them through the season, if you will. And is this one thing where a lot of the jokes are the fact that after Russell Wilson went to the Broncos and basically started to have them on their tanking seasons, Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, who's never had a losing season in like 20 plus years of being the coach, walking into the pitch is now Russell Wilson to tank that going forward. Now, we'll see what happens going. Big deal in this one. The pettier part about this is the fact that because he was waived by the Broncos in such a way, the Broncos actually still own his contract. They have to pay his big money. This is money that he's being paid because they have to pay him something. That's the Steelers, but they're still paying the bulk of his salary, being the Broncos, and it sits on the cap. It's still sitting there because they own it. It's ironic that Steelers get a cheap player who hopefully will be much better this year for the Broncos paying off the guy. Colin Firth. He's not quite in the news, but his costume he wore from Pride and Prejudice, the wet shirt scene, that one, you may remember it, tidy sum at an auction. That's the way they put it in the title. The Mr. Darcy shirt from the BBC adaptation of Pride and Prejudice sold at auction at about $25,000, about 25,000 pounds more or less. The particular costume has been celebrated for its role in this memorial scene that significantly contributed to the series' popularity and Firth's heartthrob status, where, the shirt gets wet and he has to stand there in the fluffy looking shirt. Big money, big shirt, big times for all. And now, let's get petty. The headline for the number 8 story we have listed, and we of course teased it, but we teased it kind of in a clickbaity way. The headline reads, Kate Middleton photo controversy is proof Meghan was right to get out of the picture. Pun intended. Here's a picture of Meghan and Kate hanging out in the box someplace, probably at Wimbledon or something like that. But the story behind this is not the fact that Kate Middleton is bad at Photoshop. Somebody's bad at Photoshop. The story is the fact that we're getting petty and we're talking about the Duchess Sussex, semi-Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, essentially feeling much better about leaving London and getting out of the royal family business because of just how crazy the royal family business is. Now, the actual story is Kate Middleton had released a photo over the weekend that was supposedly her and her children posing for a Mother's Day picture, and that someone looked and say, hey, this little bitty pixel over here is off, and it turned into a big deal. We put in a teaser graphic the picture of Kate Middleton in the car with her mother driving around. The first time she's been seen out anywhere since her surgery, but she's sitting in a car. No one is understanding what's going on with the Middleton thing. They think, there's a body doubles. They think she's been abducted. Maybe she's dead. Literally, all sorts of things are going on. It's conspiracy theories from this actual picture. They took a photo from a photo shoot from 4 years ago and put the face on there to change it, change some colors because this picture was actually made 2 years ago, something, something, something. Had to stretch out the kids. Just all kind of weirdness. And with that, Meghan Markle is back in Hollywood, sitting pretty and smiling, sipping tea in an English way just to be petty because she is. That's really all we have for this one. And yes, we're going with it. Meghan Markle can be petty, and we're being petty because Kate Middleton is getting her comeuppance. That is what we have for today. That is what we have for today. That is where we are today. That is what you conversationists wanted because this was the top story of the day by leaps and bounds. In our apologies, errors, and omissions section, we're going to talk about the story that we wanted to quickly jump on. We actually talked about it a bit yesterday when we talked about Katie Britt and her actual commentary for the State of the Union rebuttal. She actually has admitted publicly that the story she said about the rapist, it was a true story, just wasn't exactly as she told it. There was a woman who was sexually trafficked, but she was sexually trafficked in Mexico, not at the border of the United States. It happened during the presidential reign of George W. Bush, not Joe Biden. And it wasn't gangs. So, yeah. So other than that, it was true. Other than the actual points of the fact of the story, it is true. So we definitely feel for the woman with the ordeal she went through. We don't feel so much for Katie Britt, who didn't quite say Biden watched this thing happen, but sort of alluded to the situation at the border and what could happen, even though what did happen happened 20 years ago specifically, and not even near where we're talking about, because we're being petty today. That's kind of where we're at. A little cranky, a lot petty. Let's talk about our teaser story for the day. This one is not petty. This one is a serious ordeal going on for the citizens of Haiti. And we want to get your opinion on it, whether we should talk more about it in this context. The headline for this story, it's pretty simple. It reads, Ariel Henry, Haiti's prime minister, resigns as law and order collapses. The Haitian government is essentially in the toilet right now. It is very, 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 very bad. And over late last night, a video message, probably from a hotel someplace, the prime minister of Haiti resigned, basically caving to what the United States wanted to hopefully get something else in there. Now, whether Barbecue, the actual gang leader who's been on TV saying how he's looking at the future of Haiti is going to take over, I don't know. Don't quite think so. But this is a story that is definitely developing, although it's been developing in the way Haiti's been running for quite some time. Yesterday, we teased the sperm whale story about it being beached. We talked about that, and we talked about today after the whale has passed. Well, we talked about Ariel Henry and him leaving the prime minister's office in Haiti while being somewhere in Puerto Rico someplace. Go to our website, thisisconversationproject.com, and find out why we do this, how we do this, and then go to our feeds. You should be following them anyway. Our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/thisisconversationproject, and Twitter or x.com. On Twitter or x.com, th_conversation. Don't type the long one out there. And we have a lot of folks who are now watching this thing live on Twitter, so we're so glad that you're doing that with us. If you want to get more of these stories, any of these stories, we post news stories every 50 minutes. On both of those platforms. Like them, love them, hate them, share them, engage in the stories. The higher engagement, better chance of talking about it. This story, like I said, if it's a top 15 story, because we take the top 15 stories of the 30 or so that come out in the next day, today, we will probably pull in there in the 8 stories we pull to talk about. If it doesn't make 15, it's got to be some very, very, very good stuff or some way to finagle it to get it in there, because them's the rules. There's so much news that goes on today. We have to limit it in some way. Are we talking about Haiti's prime minister resigning? You are literally the judge for this story. Today's spotlight sponsor is PS Print. And we've not talked about them in a while because other things are happening. And like I said, if I'd have thought about it harder, I probably would put Robin in there because it sort of made sense. But PS Print is a website that can get you out of jams fairly easily. And how do they do that? By offering great supplies, great promotional items, great prices, great service. They take care of it all. PS Print is awesome because they are backed by Deluxe, the people who've making checks for you for 100 years or so. And so they have great quality, they have great time and great service. So why don't they just print more stuff? Well, they're going to do it for you. All sorts of chattel, all sorts of cool things you can find for PS Print. You can get bookmarks done, brochures done, door hangers done, event tickets, notepads, menus, whatever you're looking for to get printed. They have it. They also have stickers, they have lanyards, they have booklets, business cards, everything you're looking for that needs to be created, printed, whatever. They got you covered. They can they order other chatsy stuff as well. So check them out. Use our website, and you get a great deal from them. They give us a great deal because they give us a commission from that sale. This is conversationproject.com/psprint. This is conversationproject.com/psprint. Now, so check them out today. If you're looking for a new vendor for your promotional items, maybe PS Print can help you out literally today. The Conversation Project lives online at this is conversationproject.com. What do you get from coming to the Conversation Project? You get more of this stuff. You get me giving you commentary on the news and some stories you may have missed based on wherever you are, whatever's going on. We're glad to do this, but it is a labor and labor of love and labor of labor. So we are looking for other ways to find ways to work things out. This is where we tell you, you can go to our feeds and engage. So we have things to talk about in most of our projects, and you can email us at the conversationinbox@gmail.com. That way you can tell us how we're doing. We also ask you at this point, participate. Maybe you could go to our partnerships page at our website and become a partner, and maybe you can, just visit a sponsor. We'll talk about our new partners. We had 2 new partners come in this week. We'll do that on Wednesday and shout them out on Wednesday. But for today, it's Tuesday, and we're bringing back, one more time, with feeling this time, $2 a Holler Tuesday. So if you want to get a shout out this week, at the end of the week on Friday, it just takes $2. And this is the only time we offer this up in this little thing to see who's paying attention, see what's up. Go to my Venmo or my Cash App. You go via J, Cleveland like the city, Payne, the letter J, Cleveland like the city, Payne, just like I say in the little teaser things. And for $2, we'll give you a shout out at the end of the week. As long as we check, make sure it's not vulgar, not anything nasty. If it is, we'll send your $2 back. But it's a Cash App or Venmo exclusive for just $2, just $2. You get a shout out this Friday on this platform here, whether you're watching it on the video or getting the audio replay. Not in the newsletter, not doing quite that yet, but we'll give you that shout out going forward here. So last week we had a shout out from Christina with a K, who is of course my wife. So we know it works, and I got the $2, and I ended up spending it on the kid for candy. There you go. Buy the kid more candy, give me more $2, and you can do that as well. And you get a shout out at the end of the week. Now it is time to wrap things up. Mercifully time to wrap things up. And so let's get into that with the fun stuff for this morning. And fun stuff happens every single weekday morning, starting off with the birthdays. We are doing the big love to Liza Minnelli, who's turning 78 years old today. Now, this may be something that Christine with the K, my wife, believes, because she actually helped me whittle down the stories and the people we're going to put into the birthday list. And this may seem like a kiss up to my wife, but in actuality, her name was the shortest of all the names we pulled this morning, so it was easier to fit it into the teaser, into the titles of the videos. So Liza Minnelli, as long as it is, and as long as she had her great career at 78, is our spotlight because her name is the shortest. Who else do we love today? Courtney P. Vance, my actual pick, and then I realized he had way too many letters, who's 64 years old on this day. And much love to Jamie Alexander, who's also doing great things as well, 40 years old on this Tuesday. Now, our history lesson. Pretty simple. This is something that has now become our bane of existence. It's sort of Alexander Graham Bell successfully spoke the first words on the telephone by calling for his assistant. That's, of course, Watson, come here, I want you. That's it. The first telephone call was made. Now, what Mr. Graham Bell would think about these monstrosities, who knows? He would probably think they were great technologies. He probably wouldn't be all a big fan of the TikTok, though, because, why are these people doing this? How do you get this pushing out of the box? Things like that. Also on this day, Coca-Cola first sold in bottles. So, that happened. Pretty big deal. That happened in 1894, about 100 or not 100, 20 so years later. Mathing, not mathing this morning. So 1876, the first telephone call happened in New Jersey, I think. I think he was in New Jersey. Someone's going to call me on that one. So go ahead, please. That's what the email is for. In the meantime, we want to remind you that times can be rough times can be tough. And when times get rough and tough, there are things you can do to work on that. And if you can't think of things to do to work on that, call someone and they'll tell you a few things to do to work on that. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988 on your cell phone. You can text them there as well. That's why it's a 98 number. You can also go to 988helpline.org online anytime you want to. The old Suicide Prevention Lifeline and website are still active and will be active for quite some time, but it's much easier to just pull out your phone and dial 988 and get some help today. Talk to someone in English and Spanish 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're manning the phones, they're watching the text, they're talking to you to talk you through whatever it is that you believe is terrible. Because whatever it is that you believe is terrible, it's not as terrible as what you may do to try to alleviate some of that pain. And I'm a person, I've been there. I understand. Give them a call. They've been there. They understand. They will help you through whatever it is. It's not too bad. Well, too bad we're done for the day. Or maybe not too bad because it's been kind of a painful morning here getting this through. It's Tuesday, March the 12th, 2024. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you profusely for sticking with us through all these things. Tuesdays are kind of a rough day because Monday's usually a very long day. So thank you for getting through all the stuff. And the news, very petty, because I'm kind of in a petty mood this week. It is what it is. So you just got to do what it do. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, being literally part of the show by giving us the suggestions what to talk about. Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and click the buttons on engagement you want to. Click the little mean face. Click this little shock face. Click the laughing smiley face, or if it's Twitter and X, all you have is a heart. You can also share it and read it and do things as well. The more engagement the story gets, the better chance we have to talk about it tomorrow. Top 15 stories get a chance to be one of the 8 stories in the queue for tomorrow. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay caffeinated, stay on task for all the grand things you are here to do. Not just for us being a watcher, being a viewer, being a listener, but for the people around you that really, really need you. So that is that. With that, love you, mean it. We're getting out of here for today. Let's do it again tomorrow. Let's get some rest and do it again tomorrow. Let's say that we're going to take a nap today. Yesterday was napping day, but today we're gonna delay that like it's comp time. Get a nap in today and have a much more well-rested, less petty show tomorrow.